What's up guys, it's me Sean, and I'm really excited to talk about a new manga I've just read. And this manga would be known as Kamunagara. Everything about this manga screams late night anime to me, and I absolutely love it. And it is absolutely criminal that there's no anime adaptation for this extremely solid read. And I could only imagine that this would have been a classic on Toonami way back when, if it did have an anime adaptation that it ultimately deserved. If I would have to give you an idea on what this series is like, or other works that I compare it to, I would say that it is very much like Parasite and Tsukihime. Like both series, Kamunagara would share a realistic type of action and choreography that would keep you on the edge of your seat, alongside the looming feelings of melancholy on top of the modern Japanese setting. When it comes to the magical elements of Tsukihime, or even the grotesque, dysmorphic body structures and horror that you'd get from the parasites from Parasite, Kamunagara would share both of these things. And personally, the thing that I would appreciate the most that Kamunagara has that both Tsukihime and Parasite would be those emotional and philosophical moments that happen throughout the story that just make you think about life differently. If you like these types of animes or manga, you need to check this series out. But to finally dive into this manga, I would say the premise in itself sold me like off rip. So thousands of years ago, demon slayers used to exist on this planet and they hunted demons. You know, we've done this dance plenty of times with anime and manga, but in this series, it's very different. It makes you question whether or not these demons that they're hunting are even demons in the first place. I will talk more about that after I get the entire premise out the way, because there's a lot of things going on in this series. But these demon slayers that used to exist thousands of years ago are stuck in a loop of being reincarnated over and over and over again. And this is where we get our main character. He would be one of the last swordsmen from this demon slaying clan to exist. But there is a catch. He does not remember anything from his past lives. This would mean that other characters that would remember, that were reincarnated, who the main character was, this would cause a lot of turmoil. Even the main villains would be upset that the main character isn't the same he was thousands of years ago, because they want to fight him to the death and torture him, of course. But a main thing that I would personally like obviously the villains wanting to fight him is pretty dope, but this is what kind of really sold me, because it was just very different, and it was just like, I gotta read this, alright? So, his lover reincarnated, and throughout these thousands of years, she would search for the main character because she remembers him and loving him and all this other stuff. But the main character would not remember anything about her. And in fact, he would not even love her. Like the moment when she first realizes who the main character was, that the main character was her reincarnated lover, she bursts into tears and immediately hugs him. And he's sitting there lost. Even seeing the arguments between the two was just so entertaining, because she would be trying to force feed him this love story about them being together, and he does not believe it. He would even question if she's crazy, and she would slap the shit out of him. And it's just so sad because of what this girl goes through. Like, she's been like suffering for thousands of years, like living in this like these different lives and timelines, and her other half is there but not actually there. Even the main character would have dreams about his reincarnated life, and he'd vividly dream of his lover, this girl, and the girl that he recently met that's claiming to be that lover has seemingly no resemblances between her and the girl that's in his dreams. But his kendo coach would have those resemblances to the girl that he would dream of from his past life, and it would make him basically lean more towards his kendo coach than his actual reincarnated lover. I'm not gonna lie, I eat the drama up. It's just so fucking good, okay? In the main character, Hitaka, the best way to describe him, the other that which summons hate. That is one of the coldest lines. It is not like that corny Kagurabachi shit like,
"Well, every morning I drink a fresh cup of coffee full of hatred."
No. The one that summons hate. That shit is fire. Now, I have a soft spot for characters that are angry. Like, I love playing as Hyde from Under Night, because I just like that like pissed off fucking attitude. Like, in this main character, he's got it too, bro. Like, he's just an angry motherfucker, and he's a tweaker, bro. Like, look at some of these panels. This dude's got a free hot girlfriend. He's just like, get the fuck off me, bro. He just, like, tweaker. And then look at him going crazy, just staring at his hand. And he would have the most soulless expressions. His quote-unquote girlfriend would try to cheer him up by giving him food, and he just not budging. It's even crazy. There's one point where you'd tell her to shut up, and he's like, I don't want to listen to your bullshit right now. And she's like, did you just say bullshit? I'm like, bro, oh my god. And if there's one thing that I really do like about this series, it has that really charming Gunsmith Cats-esque comedy. It even gets worse because there's a scene where she wants to and the main character does not want that. He yoinks his arm and he's on some, I'm too angry to do that. I'm depressed and I'm suffering inside. I'll sleep alone. But yeah, outside of the main character maybe being a little bit annoying in certain situations, for the most part you understand where he's coming from and he's pretty entertaining. You get the fact that he wants to have a normal life, he doesn't want to kill anything. Like, even at the beginning of the manga, when the demons start possessing smaller animals, he doesn't even feel comfortable killing them because he doesn't want to harm animals. And then seeing him lose himself to the mystery about what happened thousands of years ago, like trying to find out who he really is, or, you know, determining whether or not he wants to do that because, you know, he'd basically not be his normal self anymore. He would be a completely different person if he got his memories back. And just seeing him cope with all these things and all of the killing that he's doing, I wouldn't say for a second that Hitaka is a bad main character. Maybe a tough pill to swallow, but he's just entertaining. I'd kind of compare him to Shinji from Evangelion. As for the main villains in this series, the speeches that they go on about are just so captivating that they might be some of my favorite parts in this entire manga. Like when the main character's finally starting to fall in love with Kanata, his reincarnated girlfriend, he plants a lie into the main character's head so that he can never really truly trust her. Earlier I was talking about how this isn't just a typical demon slaying manga, and that would be because the clan of demon slayers actually caused these problems themselves. So basically people that they would have oppressed during war and killed would become demons, right? Because obviously if this clan is oppressing these people, they're gonna die with hatred and resentment for the people that were just oppressing them. And that would be what these so-called demons are. People that could not pass on in peace because of this demon slaying clan, quote unquote, tore their lives away from them. They were never really a demon slaying clan. They were just a group of oppressors that became demon slayers, not for this false sense of justice, but to clean up a mess that they've started themselves. They only became demon slayers because the same people that they were pillaging just so happened to become demons from their same pillaging. And Tsubasa, the main villain that has this hatred for the main character that we don't get to see the pure reason why, because everything in this series is shrouded in mystery until we get to see all the memories unravel. He would have some of the most entertaining lines of dialogue and speeches that I've read in this manga. They were just so much fun to read, and I don't say that a lot. For example, Time, you see. Time goes by. People are reborn, and then one day they die. No matter how airtight the system is, it's a system comprised of humans, after all. Those wielding power and those looking after the system had no choice but to pass down their work across the generations. The reincarnation system used by Hihiro Kane wielders such as you and your clan is nowhere near perfect. Eventually, forgetfulness and loss become part of time. The transmissions are exposed to noise, such as fallacy and error. Little by little, its true form is compromised until one day it no longer resembles the original. In contrast, our hatred will never change. Death will knock over the domino called life. The powers that be seized control of the world through their power. But when at last they run out of dominoes, death will catch up to life. It's a game of tag, and as long as life ends with death, you and your people will never get to be it. The day will come when we catch you. Until that day comes, over and over, over and over, no matter how many times it takes. In that scene, he's talking about the endless loop of them being reincarnated, but over time, as they reincarnate, they're all going to lose their memories. But the main villains, they do not lose their memories. And their form of reincarnation is far superior than the demon-slaying clan's form of reincarnation. Now, if you like villains like that, you need to read this. This manga is so good. It's just a really solid manga. I'm not gonna act like it's my most favorite, but if you want something that's guaranteed above an 8 out of 10, you need to just read this. It takes the demon slaying stereotype, the love stereotype, reincarnation stereotype, and it does so many interesting things with it that I could actually never guess what would happen next. If you're tired of tropes and stereotypes in your anime and or manga being handled in the same generic way, you should definitely read this because all of them are handled differently. For the first time, usually when I look at anything, let's say like a superhero story or a supernatural story or anything along those lines, they usually have the trope of, hey, let's make the police characters get involved. And for once in my life, I read a story where police characters got involved and they weren't annoying. They actually added to the story. In fact, the government in this story knows about the supernatural and it doesn't feel forced or out of place. Like the typical police characters that get involved with the main characters and like, oh, we gotta figure out what the main characters are doing, or we're gonna somehow get in their way. For once, the way this was written, it is not annoying. And that right there sounds like a miracle in itself. There's so many likable characters, so much drama going on. And the mystery will keep you turning every single page. I just find it so interesting seeing the main characters typically slaying demons, and then on the other hand, you'd see how the government would go about handling them. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but I can definitely say this is worth your time. The only downside is there are 10 volumes for this series, and only 7 of them are translated. And this is a very unfortunate thing that happens to older mangas because their translation team is nothing more than passionate fans that want more people to read this series, but unfortunately over time, they typically disband and series like this get left in the dust. Now me, I know I don't have the biggest platform, but when it comes to series like this, I believe that they deserve to get fully translated, and it is my job to put something like this on the map so we can get more individuals passionate enough about it so we could finally see that ending. After reading an amazing story like this, it just saddens me that I can never really finish this series unless I learn Japanese. There are plenty of manga out there that I want to read that aren't fully translated, and I want this series to be the start to where if it will get enough attention that we could possibly get these last 3 volumes translated. And all I can really ask for is that you guys help me out and give this series more clout, so I can finally read that ending to the journey I got so invested in. Even looking at the later volume covers, if you do plan on reading this character specifically, I want to know why he has this girl chained down. What is the plot twist? What happened in all of these characters' past lives? I've just got to know. So at this point, all I can really ask is that you guys help make this dream a reality. Help support the channel so we can get more of these series translated and put on the map. And with that, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Y'all take it easy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and recommend a manga for me to review in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out.